At the end of this video, you're going to know 7 different ways that international students and professionals could stay in the US longer for either work, school, or permanently. So, let's dive right in. Hi people, my name is Winie. I am the founder and lead content creator at Winie Student World, an online platform committed to sharing the best resources to help international students and professionals succeed. Welcome. So we are in OPT season. People are applying for OPT. Graduation is around the corner. And so a lot of international students are trying to figure out what their next steps are or what their next steps will be. That's what we're talking about today. So you want to stay to the end of this video so that you could learn all the 7 things that I'm going to be sharing with you today. A disclaimer before I go ahead and start this video. I am not an immigration lawyer, and everything you see or watch in this video or on this channel is for information purposes. I highly recommend that you seek an immigration lawyer when you're navigating your immigration options. All right. Let's jump right in. So the first thing you can do as an international student is work. When you finish school, it is called OPT, Optional Practical Training. That's where you have a work permit that you use after you finish your program, or you could even use it while you're still in school to work, gain experience, make some money. If you studied a STEM course, science, technology, engineering, math, you qualify for a 24-month extension, which brings your total time on OPT up to 36 months. You see, that's a win-win for people who are in the science field. So yes, that's the first thing you can do. If you're in the STEM field, of course, you have up to 3 years after you finish your program to work and figure out your next move. So that's good. All right, the second thing is the non-immigrant work visas. The most common one is the H-1B visa. I personally went through that visa. There are other ones like the L-1, which is for multinational companies that are trying to set up new branches. There's also the O-1 for people who have extraordinary abilities. You could check out those visas to see if you qualify for them. They are non-immigrant work visas. Their durations again vary. And so it's important for you to look into them and see what option works best for you. For the H-1B visa, for example, it is valid up to 6 years. They give you 3 years the first time and you can renew for an additional 3 years, but you could only work for the company who files the H-1B visa for you. So each work visa has its own kind of caveats that you have to look into and make sure that it aligns well with who you are and what you want to achieve before you go for it. All right, the third thing is you can go back to school. Yes, you can go back to school. I actually went back to school after working on OPT for almost a year, and it was a very easy process. All that needs to happen is that your previous school transfers your service record to your new school and you get a new I-20. It is very, straightforward. Yes. The most important thing to keep in mind is that you have to start this process early. So you can't wait until your OPT is about to run out to start applying for schools. You're gonna get into trouble. Yes, you have to start early. So if schooling is an option for you, if going back to school for a graduate degree is an option for you, I suggest that you start that process early, preferably the year before the admission cycle starts, right? So that you can have enough time to field your options, make sure that the school you're choosing is what you want, make sure that you can get all the juices and goodies from the schools that you're applying to. This is very, very, very important because funding can be an issue for international students. I also advise you not to go back to school for the same degree if you have worked on OPT. Same level of degree, because if you get a bachelor's degree, get your OPT from your bachelor's degree. If you go back and get another bachelor's degree, you don't have an OPT waiting for you at the end of it. You have to go to a new level of degree to get another OPT attached to that process. An example is after my bachelor's, I had my OPT. After my PhD, I had my OPT. And so if I went back for another bachelor's, for example, after working on OPT, I will not be eligible to apply for OPT at that same level anymore. Another thing to keep in mind is if you skip a level, so for example, I went from bachelor straight to PhD. You can't go back and get a master's and try to use the OPT that was associated with a master's degree. If you skip a level, you forfeit the OPT attached to that level. Very important things to keep in mind as you're navigating the decision of what you want to do and how you want to go about it. The next option for you is investment. Now, this is an atypical pathway for international students, but it is possible. And so you could invest or start a business. You're required to have a substantial amount of capital, which could be up to $500,000 if you're trying to go for the investment visa or the visa that is attached to investors. Again, very atypical, but some people have families, some people have great ideas that they could provide those, capital backing for, and it could qualify you for a visa. All right, the next option is your immigrant visas, right? Employment-based green cards, as a lot of people know it as. Again, that's also a process that I went through, and that is when your job sees that you are amazing, or they see that your skills is what they're going to need for a long time, and they choose to sponsor you to keep you in the US permanently. This process could be pretty fast for some professions. For example, we're currently in a pandemic, and people who are in the healthcare profession have reported, some faster processes when it comes to transitioning to employment-based green cards. And so if you're in the healthcare field, or really any field at all, and you have a company who is willing to go through this process for you, that is also an option. There is a post on Winie Student World that contains websites where you can find jobs for H-1B sponsorships and green card. Please visit that website and go through them, see what options you can find. I put some tips and tricks on how to also search the website to make sure that you get the best from that process. The next option for you is you could find the love of your life who is an American citizen and choose to marry that person to stay in the country, or choose to marry that person and then transition from your F-1 status to green card status. I am completely against marriage-based green cards that are not true, and so I don't recommend it. If you're exploring your options, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to speak with you and connect you to immigration attorneys who would help you figure out better options, because fraudulent marriages are being cracked down, and I don't want you to be caught in a web like that. So if you find your very one true love, you find the person who your heart beats for, and the person is a US citizen, go ahead, get married, send me cake and send me some Coca-Cola. All right. The last but not the least option is the diversity visa lottery. That is one of the common ways that people actually know about immigrating to the US. You could do this from outside the US, or you could also do it from inside the US. I actually know someone who got their green card from inside the US as an F-1 student. They applied. The thing to keep in mind is that not all countries qualify for this process. For example, my home country, Nigeria, we are not eligible to apply for diversity visa lotteries. So you have to make sure that your country qualifies for this before you go ahead and apply for this process. All right. That brings us to the end of this video. Tell me what was news to you, or tell me if everything here you knew about already. Tell me what processes you are going to be pursuing in the comment below. Tell me if there's something else that I didn't share that you probably experienced or you have heard of. Tell me who you are and where you're watching from. I want to chat with you in the comment section below. Until I come your way again, my name is Winie. We would love to see you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are there at Winie Student World. Click like and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube. That's the only way I could get to know the videos that you like and make more videos like that. At Winie Student World, we are so grateful to have you as part of our tribe members, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye-bye.